What's going on, family? You can be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. Thank you. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And remember, nothing happens until you hustle.
For generations, the path to building wealth went straight through home ownership, but millions of young Americans are skipping the door, the white picket fence, the new fancy kitchen, and are pouring their future into the bull market instead. Retail trading has doubled since 2010. 1 in 3 25-year-olds now has an investment account. That is 6 times more than a decade ago. Charles Schwab says the 2020 meme stock craze sparked a generational shift, but warns this group has never had to grind through a drawn-out bear market. They're the stocks only go up generation. Taylor, I don't know about that. This is...
You know what? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I think it depends on what they have invested in. So I know a lot of people who invested in Bitcoin. And if you know anything about Bitcoin, Bitcoin is one of the rockiest roller coasters you can have as an investment vehicle. And sometimes it can be up to 100,000. And I've seen it drop down to 30,000, 40,000, practically overnight, right? So I think the first part, in my opinion, would be it depends on what you're invested in. Now, I'm going to speak for myself and my personal situation. For me, I have a bit of different approach when it comes to investing. Like, I know an investment account is not only something that you could use for stocks and stuff like that, but I mean, it could be tied into your 401k if you have a corporate job, so on and so forth, your Roth IRA. So the way I like to look at stocks is I don't picture it like I'm investing in stocks. I do extensive research before I decide to invest in a company. It's really giving you an opportunity to invest into that company, and I only invest in companies I believe in. Obviously, in the future, I give you guys some insights into what my portfolio looks like, but it's not about me sponsoring any type of companies right now. The bigger takeaway I want you guys to understand is an investment account fundamentally gives you more bang for your buck than having even like a money market account, or some people would do a CD, a certificate of deposit or something, to where you have a certain amount of money. Let's say it's 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 2,000. The deal is you lock this money up for an extended period of time. It could be 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. And in exchange for that, the banks give you a return on that. So it might be 3%, 4%, which sounds pretty decent. Now, it's more, I will give you this, it's more than a savings account. Because I tested this out. I had $1,000 sitting in my savings account, and then I let it roll over because it's supposed to give you an interest rate. And I end up having $1,000.15, right, which is a big payout. Conversely, obviously I'm being sarcastic, but conversely, when I had that same $1,000 inside of my brokerage account, as of right now, as of this recording, December, I'm right around an 18 to 19% return on my money. And that's just like a small subset based off the companies and the stocks I invested in. So as you're looking around and you see home prices starting to go down, it's starting to become a buyer's market, by the way. That means that we have an overinflated real estate market to begin with. Prices have been going up, and they are right about one thing. It has been a bull market for quite some time. You have a couple ups and downs, but a bull market just means it continues to go up. And a bearish market means that it is going down. All right. So I don't want you to get caught up in the terms that they're using. We'll break it down from a GD standpoint, as simple as possible, because I have a GD, right? So we're going to break this down to the simplest term. But let's listen a little bit more. I'll come back and I'll give you some more of my thoughts.
Agree with you. Is it speculation and gambling, or is it just socking money away and straight up investing?
I think the second. And I think to sell that generation short and to say it's the stocks only go up generation, isn't giving them the credit that they deserve. I think that just the way we were all bond traders on the floor in the first rate hike after, ZIRP and NERP, everyone thought, oh my gosh, this is the first generation of bond traders who've never witnessed a rate hike. We got through it. We all will, right? So I think that sells them a little bit short. And I like this idea, but Jackie and I have gone back and forth on this. So I want you to weigh in.
Okay.
I like that we are more invested in the stock market. We just talked about the benefits of compound interest. We've talked about building generational wealth, being able to give my daughter, here was an Apple equity stock bond or whatever that I bought for you. Here it is 18 years later, whatever that may be.
Oh, yeah.
My concern is if we are building a generation of renters instead of owners. And if I want an owner economy, I am much more invested in my community, in my property taxes, in where my money is going. There is dignity in ownership. So if I'm now building up a generation of renters, will they really clean that fridge as much as they would if they were an owner? What does that mean?
Okay, so I'm with you. I hear you. I'm about 90% with what she's saying right now, right? I think she makes some great points. Let me kind of take a step back. A brokerage account can be used to, she mentioned compound interest and the money compounds. Guys, I don't know if you looked at any YouTube videos, if you watched any type of shows or movies, or if you've done some research. Once you get over a certain amount within your brokerage account, within your investment accounts, like it's the $100,000 amount. Once you get past that 100,000, and I know 100,000 sounds outrageous, and you may think that you're so far away from that, but stay with me. So understand what I'm saying. Once you get to 100K, that same 18-19% that I told you guys on $1,000. Okay, on $1,000, I'm making what, $180, $190. No big deal. Add another zero to it. That $10,000. Okay, now, I'm making about 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Something. Okay, cool. But at 100,000, now we're talking about 18, 19,000, right? And obviously, as you start to extrapolate that out and start to add more zeros, you're talking about once you get up to a certain point, and this is why it's so important to divest yourself from debt and to lower the amount of money it takes for you to live what your monthly living expenses is, because it frees up so much more capital for you to pour into yourself. And don't get it twisted. That money is still liquid. If anything happens, you can always pull it out. You can always, and you don't even have to sell it. There's different things that you can do in order to keep that money growing for you and still have access to it. We'll talk about that in some more, future episodes. But the benefits of it is so much more than just having your money in a bank account and allowing inflation to eat at it and allowing the cost of living to eat at it, right? And I do believe that there's going to be like a middle ground somewhere. I don't think home rates for mortgages is going to go back down into the 2s and 3s. I'll be happily wrong, right? But maybe it'll fall somewhere in the 4, 5-ish range. It'll come down from where it's at right now. I believe it's at about 6.5, maybe 7% in some instances. So I think there's going to be a middle ground there. So what I always tell my friends and my family members and my loved ones, and I consider you family, I tell them like, hey, build yourself up to the point to where you're not having to figure out what your debt to income ratio is and borrow money to hold in there for your reserves for the mortgage and do all. You don't want to be house poor. You don't want to spend all of your money acquiring a house because something's going to break, something's going to go wrong. And that's what people go wrong at, right? In those situations, because they don't have reserves, they don't have money put up. Once you properly fund your brokerage account, you ready to rock and roll, because not only is that enough for the down payment, and on this side of the internet, we put down more than 3.5%. We put down 20%, 25%. We don't do 30-year mortgages. We do 15-year mortgages, right? Because it just makes sense. And the numbers will back up what I'm saying right now. Don't give up on your goal, on your dream of owning a home one day. Prices are going to stabilize. Interest rates are going to stabilize. And when they do, I want you to be in a position to where you're ready to strike when the iron is hot. Personally speaking, I'll be making my first purchase June 2027. I already have it mapped out. I'm going to do exactly what I said. I'm putting down 25%. I'm going to have 6 months of mortgages reserved in the bank, right? Well, in the brokerage account. Don't get it twisted. In the brokerage account. And I'm also going to get a 15-year mortgage and make extra payments to where I can pay that off as fast as possible. And that'll be my first property. I call it P0. And then P1, P2, P3 are all going to be investment properties. So I'm looking forward to bringing you guys along with me on this journey as I document everything. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. 90% of you watching have not subscribed yet. I do want to let you know it's free, right? And it'll make me so happy. It'll make my girl look at me different. I might get lucky this holiday season. Who knows? I love you. I appreciate you. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.